And I think that some of these things you're talking about are important because, again, there are differences generally speaking, between a man's character and a woman's character.
Yeah.
Women have certain things that they bring that a man does not bring, typically speaking, and vice versa. So we expect men to be stronger. We expect men to be the ones that do the dirty work. That there's a noise that's outside.
Yeah.
You go look and see what it is.
Gender roles.
Yeah, there are gender roles. That's the reality. And for us to try to deny them and to try to deny who we are, and then to use that against you, that you're a mother acting like a female, which you're a female, that's what you should be acting like. And I'm not saying the crazy stuff. I understand. Anybody can do a crazy thing or whatever. But it's always interesting how the anti-family law attorneys, they will focus on one incident and try to say that this is the way your whole life is characterized.
Yes, and I want to say something about that because I end up going pro se for my case because, anyways, I decided to go pro se.
You didn't have the money, right?
I didn't have the money, and
Right.
I also didn't like the way the lawyers were working for me.
Right.
Which, well, that's another story. But like basically, I went in to see the law and the rules of evidence. And the rules of evidence say that not because one person has okay, I'm gonna say it this way, a brick is not a wall.
Right.
So in other words,
Right. I got you.
Yes, you know what I mean. That's very nice because
very interesting,
and that's exactly what it says on the family Texas court. It says a brick is not a wall. So what happens in family court? They take a person's bad time in their lives, which is normal. Like in family court, people feel really bad. It's about their children being taken away from them. So obviously, people are gonna react.
Right.
People are gonna cry. People are gonna scream. Sometimes,
Right.
it's normal.
Right.
But in family court, it seems like they use it as a weapon to take away the rights from that parent.
Right.
But
Right.
the law itself protects us from us.
Yeah.
The problem is that most people don't know their rights, and the judges sometimes and the lawyers are not interested on us knowing our rights because
Right.
that's how they make money.
Right.
They want us to keep us there forever,
Right.
and they want to keep us uninformed so that way they can prolong a litigation forever and
drain
make
some more money out of it. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's very interesting you talk about the judges here too, because I was at a case one time where the judge was doing something, and another lawyer who was there, not in this one case, says that lawyer does not understand what's going on, does not understand the Texas Family Code, and in fact, there was part of the time that one of the attorneys on the opposing side actually had to tell the judge, you really can't do that.
Yeah,
Even though
it's sad. You know, you have to tell someone. I'm so sorry, I interrupted you.
No. But I think you're absolutely right. The fact that that we have that these people get elected to judge positions, and we're just supposed to say, oh, it's the thin black robe that creates stability in our society.
Integrity.
The thin black robe. We must maintain the illusion of integrity and the illusion of justice to keep society straight. Because the reality is, in many instances, it is an illusion.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And I mean, I know that's what I've seen. That's what I've experienced. That's what I've seen with other people. And it's really bad because I've told some legislators, I was very conservative. I, did all the right things, military. I mean, all the right things. And I said, I want to trust the judiciary.
Okay.
Having now been through it and having now seen it, my confidence level in the judiciary is this.
Yeah.
So the entire third branch of government, when I say I have zero confidence, probably zero is on the high, and it might be negative. And I have talked to so many people that have said, outstanding people said the same thing. And it kind of sounds to me like you're saying, you have no trust, especially in the family court system.
I love trust. I do hope the law is more specific. Like especially for example for child parenting, we still don't have laws for that in Texas, which that needs to change. But there's a lot in the law itself that is very good.
Right.
But the lawyers and the judges are not following it.
Absolutely.
And this is the thing. Like there are citizens like you and me, They're equal, and they shouldn't be. They shouldn't take rights away from people that they should know they have, because it's written on the law. So and that's why I bring up the rules of evidence, because I hear so many parents being accused of false allegations, and also about like exaggerating their human flaws, where there is specific laws that say that shouldn't be allowed at the court. So I'm in front of people who are supposed to know this, who studied the law, who were elected to do their job, and it's like they're not playing by they're not following the law, and that's how can you trust a place like that?
You can't.
It's impossible.
So, and then what you also find too, and I want to get both of your feedback on this, because I've watched these things where the judge will basically, something that was said on the record, and they kind of like take it off the record, or like strike it from this point on because objection non-responsive, okay, non-responsive from blah blah blah, and yet what you see is that the transcript can be altered. The transcript can be faulty. So what I think is that we need to have video cameras. Like we have video cameras right now in our meeting. Those are being live streamed. They're being archived. And really what I think that we need to do is have the same thing in family courts. And we also need to have a process to review them. Because, if there's a judge, if you have an allegation against a judge, I think we should actually have a committee that would review that. Right now, unfortunately, the State Commission on Judicial Conduct is a spineless committee. It doesn't do anything to discipline judges by and large. I filed multiple occasions. You have no evidence. Well, you won't let me videotape in the courtroom. You videotape. And when I saw another trial that actually was videotaped, and I was able to get the recording and put it on my YouTube channel, and people were like, look at that judge's eyes. Look at what the judge did. The judge did this. That is never captured in the transcript. So a judge can threaten and it will never be captured in the transcript. So, I mean, what are your thoughts about having video cameras in the courtroom?
We should absolutely have them. And it creates more accountability.
Absolutely.
And which it's for everybody to see. It's out there in the open. And it should always be live streamed. Those are my thoughts. And on the objection non-responsive, sometimes they say that just when you answer and it's not the answer that they want to hear.
We only want a yes or a no. Well, not every answer is a yes or a no. And actually, because it was very interesting to me, because today, I don't know if you caught that, but Representative Cook did that to me. He asked me a question. It was a yes or a no. And
I did.
And I thought, I obviously know where he stands. He actually owns a law firm, and his law firm deals with family law and divorce and stuff like that. So I'm going to ask him to recuse himself from the voting, because in his office he could actually be passing legislation which would benefit him financially. So that is a conflict of interest, and it also impugns upon his impartiality. So between Representative Cook and Representative Niave and Representative Ramos, or should I say Chairman Niave and Representative Ramos, I think those three should actually recuse themselves from voting, because they will be profiting from a law that fails, from a bill that fails, if that's what takes place.
I agree.
Anyway, but did you want to add anything about the video and everything?
Well, I do think there has to be 100% transparency. And another thing that I was thinking about, like videotaping everything, it should be free to the public. And also, one of the things that I noticed about transcripts, like when you ask for a transcript, they charge you hundreds of dollars. Why is it? It has to be like, for example, many times I had to choose not to get the transcript when it would have been very essential for my case, and I couldn't afford it. It's my case, it's my life.
And you should be able to do what I would say is that video recording actually helps to create an equal sense of justice, because that way a person who's not wealthy can do his or her own transcription. You want to check it, check it. But the reality is that we also know too that the transcripts are not 100% accurate. And the most expensive book in my library right now, actually the two most expensive books in my library right now are court transcripts.
Wow.
One of them cost $1,590, and that was a friend that sent me. Mine cost about $1,200. But the thing is, with the $1,200, and they sent me a PDF. I had to print it off from them. It's just a PDF.
It's just an electronic file?
$1,200 for PDF.
Wow.
Yeah, that just adds to the inequality. It adds to the injustice. It adds to it really. It's like a slap on the face, honestly. Like it. Yeah. Like.
And I just wonder what happens with $1,200 for a PDF. And maybe it's maybe you have an hour and a half, 2 hours in front of the judge, and they're doing the transcript as you're speaking, and maybe they have to tidy some things up. But I mean, that is a lot of money per hour.
Yeah.
So I mean, does the court transcriptionist, the court reporter, does she get all of that, or he get all of that, or is there some other way that the courts are actually profiting? Yeah. Because the reality is what they're doing, and I think what I hear you saying is that they're profiting off of our suffering.
Yes,
and
exactly.
They're inflicting the suffering and then profiting from it.
And then the justice itself, it's something that we have.
Right.
They are making it look. They're making it where like only a few can access that justice.
Yeah.
But again, like we are all under the same constitution.
Right.
We're all equal under the law.
Right.
We should all have equal access to the justice of this country.
Yeah.